All right, good morning and welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, the 1010XL app, the YouTube channel, all over social media, and live on Facebook on my personal, and then we'll get it all out there to everywhere. Brought to you by my friends at Team Tommy Mac. You see my Code Ninja shirt on. I'm telling you, parents out there with kids ages 5 to 15, get them in some summer camps, get them in a camp at Code Ninjas. Give them a leg up in the world of technology. We know where it's all going, and they handle it the right way. That's well-rounded camp. They'll get outside, they'll get exercise, and then they'll come in and work on like Minecraft and Roblox and AI and all types of technology stuff that we didn't have as kids, but we know where it's going, like I said. Check them out, codeninjas.com. They got 4 great locations. Lots to get into today. With our Jags GM search, we're going to look at some draft prospects, draft needs, what could go on. We'll talk about a tremendous lineman who calls it quits after a tremendous career, and we'll get into a little bit of this and a little bit of that on a Friday. Before we do, let's welcome in my good friend, Grammage. Hello, Grammage. How are you, buddy? That's a slick and sweet pullover. I got to get my hands on one of those, man. That would look good on Tommy Mac.
It would. Big Q-zip guy.
Let me show the people.
Big Q-zip.
Black and white. Are they all the same kind of color?
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Big Q-zip guy.
Yeah, I like it. It's a chilly day out there, man. You got to put something on.
I feel like a college basketball coach wearing a Q-zip.
Yeah, no, it does kind of got that kind of feel. You know, I had to put a whistle around the neck and.
I will say though, this might be an old school take for someone my age. I miss when the basketball coach is suited up, man.
Wore ties?
Yeah,
like
dude.
Suits? Yeah, I don't know. You know, I never got into like football or basketball, you know, like dressing up like that.
Well,
I don't know.
football, it hasn't. It
old school college ball they used to, especially in the South, that was all ties.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I grew up on Billy Donovan coaching the Gators, shirt and tie.
Yeah.
Every game, shirt and tie.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, for sure.
And then other coaches would suit up and shirt and tie, whatever. Yeah. I miss that, man.
I just know that I would be pitting out every game, so I got to be very conscious of that. You know what I'm saying? Even as a coach, I'd be sweating my butt off. So got to make sure whatever I'm wearing that it's conducive to the sweat that's bound to take place. Did you watch the Four Nations hockey game last night? Let me tell you what I did. I was so like pumped up. I'm like, babe, just come on. We got to watch this. These guys, the last time they went at it, you know, they was booing and this, and they're fighting right away, and it should be great, should be this, should be that. Nothing. I mean, nothing. There was some boos, you know, during the Canadian anthem, which, whatever. I'm not into that, but whatever. But there was no fights in the beginning. The guy that was in the fights the other night, he got knocked right on his butt. He got up right away, but it was like initial whack. He fell down. I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. Didn't seem like there were a lot of big hits from the American side. I don't know. It seemed kind of – but I was expecting this, like, let's go at it again. Like, here we go. Like, now you're on our turf. Let's duke it out again. And when it didn't happen, I watched probably half the first period, maybe a little bit more. I'm on this weird clock. Like, I got up at 4 this morning, but going to bed at like 9, you know, falling asleep early.
That's the old man clock.
I guess it is. Now, not on the weekends, but during the week, I'm like that. I got to break the clock tonight, though. I can't, this 4 o'clock. I kind of like it in a sense, but it's not 5. 5 you can kind of get. You know what I mean?
4 is aggressive.
4 is really aggressive. God bless people that have to get up even earlier than that to get ready for work or whatever, go to work. I tell you, I took my daughter. One of the reasons I've been getting up early, I took my Kelsey to the airport early on yesterday, and she when we were driving, I mean, there's a lot of people out on the road early, man. I mean, they're trucks, of course, but just regular people going to work. It was early in the morning, too. I'm like, man, a lot of people moving around early in this town, but nonetheless, but a strange clock. But yeah, I didn't watch. Did you watch it at all? Did you watch the
whole thing?
It was a great match. I mean, it was unbelievable. Went to overtime, right? Phenomenal.
Dude,
but
the U.S. had them dead to rights in overtime.
Did they come back like physically? Because they didn't feel like they were that physical early.
It wasn't that physical of a game, just generally speaking.
I thought Canada was hitting us pretty good. There were some good checks by them early on. Anyway, it turned out to be a really compelling match. I know that.
Yeah. So the overtime before Canada scored the game winner,
Yeah.
The U.S. had every chance.
Did they?
They had chance after chance after chance,
Yeah.
and good ones too.
Yeah.
I'm talking
2-on-1 kind of stuff, or breakaways.
I'm talking like good shot on goal,
Yep.
deflection, guy sitting there for a rebound type of thing. Like, and
that first
they could
Canadian
not get it
goal
in.
was insane. How it went through like 5 different people.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, a little bit of that's luck, right? I mean, I know he's aiming, but he doesn't know if it's going to slide. But it did. It went right through multiple people going like that.
Well, that's why the name of the game in hockey is getting a lot of shots.
Yeah, right.
Because you get 20 shots up.
Right.
2 or 3 are probably going to get to where they need to be.
Someone's going to nick it in or whatever.
Right.
That ice is a funny thing, man. It makes it go all types of places.
I think the Americans had them dead to rights. I think in a normal game, when you don't have the best players in the world also on the other side,
right,
the U.S. probably wins.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that a guy named Connor McDavid is on the other
phenomenal.
side, who is pretty good at scoring goals. I hear.
Unbelievable.
So.
I love hockey.
He had one opportunity.
I'll tell you what,
he seized it.
if you haven't been to an Iceman game here in Jacksonville, you're missing out. You should take your kids because it's a fun, exciting time.
Really fun.
And they're getting 9,000 people in there. I had Arlie Johnson, their play-by-play, and their and Coach Matt Schinter, their head coach, and he was an enforcer back in his day. You could tell, man. He big old paws, big tall dude, but a great interview on the horse's mouth if you want to check it out. DailyNewsNetwork.com. But, yeah, man, I love hockey. I think for me it's football, hockey, and then the fight game. That would be my preference of watching, sports. Football, number one, without a doubt. But March Madness I'll watch, but I don't watch the NBA. I don't know. I feel like the NBA, they go down and score, they go down and score, they go down and score, they go down and score. They're phenomenal. I love watching the highlights. Like I watch the Sports Center highlights, and you're like, holy cow, that was pretty impressive, But no, I don't sit there and watch. I don't sit there and watch baseball either. I like baseball. I like it live better than watching it on TV. I like playing it better than watching it live. But football for sure. Like for me, the NFL, any game is a good game. You know what I mean? Even if it's not a good game, but it's worthy of me watching because it's still the best of the best. You know what I mean? College, it has to be. If it's Boston College, I'll watch. But it has to be like a bigger game. I'm not going to watch a team that I know is going to kick the crap out of the other team. That's not, entertainment for me. It is for the school and for their fans. I get it. But NFL to me is like, it doesn't matter who's playing.
You're not watching Maction on Tuesday nights?
What's that?
You're not watching Maction on Tuesday nights?
No, I don't even know what that is.
The MAC. The
MAC conference?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And they play on Tuesdays during
the
week.
Hoops do?
No, football.
Football does.
Yeah. And all of November, all of October, November, they play.
I honestly, I did not even know that.
Yeah, they play Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
Really?
Yep. And it's called Maction.
Okay.
Little
late at night, or night. It's got to be
like
nighttime.
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. It's a little
near REM time.
There's nothing like a little. There's nothing like a little Tuesday night, mid-November, Central Michigan versus Buffalo.
Okay, so you'll get into that.
Just gets the blood flowing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd get into that too much. I just, and not that it's, I'm again, obviously it's great. People are playing football, but I don't know if unless I knew someone's kid on the program or something like that, then I'd watch. I mean, look, BC's not always great, but I watch them because of my time there and my.
I love college football because it's wacky. I love the wackiness of college.
Yeah. You watch late at night, West Coast, don't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That I never see.
Oh, yeah, man. Saturday night, you give me Cal Stanford at midnight, dude, I'm locked in, man.
Listen, man, I don't even make Thursday night second half. I don't make
Monday night.
Monday
give me some
night
food,
second
some late night bites.
I don't
watch some football.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
No, I'm done. I've had enough bites and everything else in between. By that time,
You're
Cowboy
about
Zack
Cycle
Martin
2 at that point.
What's that?
You're about Rem Cycle 2 at that point,
yeah,
right?
Pretty close. Pretty close. I've had my first leak maybe even by then. Let's see. Zack Martin retires. First ballot Hall of Famer at 34 years of age. How about this? Now, listen, I don't know if I totally believe this, but it's being reported that he's got as many accepted holding penalties in his career that he does as being first team All-Pro, which is 7.
That's ridiculous.
So, look, they hold every play. Don't let anybody else fool you. Now, it's legal holding, but they do grab you. And they like to grab the outsides of your pads that are right around your chest and be able to dig into that and hold you. Now, what obviously Zack Martin was great at was knowing when to let go. That's the key to not get called and holding. When to know. It's always that last, I got to yank him one last time, that normally gets the holding penalty, unless it's really egregious and the arm's outside. But look, if your hands are inside and you're grabbing onto cloth and I can't get your hands off me, it's technically holding. They're not going to call it holding. And all my offensive line friends are sitting there going, you wuss, that's such BS. But it's true. But if once you know when to let go, no, they're not going to call the holding. So I understand that part of it.
Well, every good offensive line coach has said hands inside.
Always inside.
Yeah.
The minute they go outside, the minute they're going to call
but that normally,
holding penalty.
That one last reach you're talking about, Tommy, where you get called, that normally happens once you're beat.
Yeah, right.
You get more holding calls when you get beat because you're further away, your arms get extended.
That's right.
Then you get in trouble. So that means that he's not getting beat a lot.
No.
To me, that's what that tells me.
Listen, 9-time Pro Bowl, 7-time All-Pro. I'll tell you what I liked even more so reading about him. So I don't know if every team has this. I can't remember if we did or not, but Zack Martin was on the Players' Council under both head coaches, Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy, which says to me he's a ridiculous leader as well. Are you out, Grammage? You done? Yeah, Grammage has got to go for a sales meeting. Good luck, my man. Close that deal. And then get some coffee. Coffee's for closers. You should always be closing, as they say. But I do like that. So let me ask you this. Can we have that? You know what I mean? A guy that's badass like that, but also cares enough about the team that, he serves on the Players' Council. Because people will respect that. Guys will respect that. They respect a 7-time All-Pro. You kidding me? Can the Jags get that? Can we have something that brings that to the table for us? But what a career for Zack Martin. No doubt first ballot. Only 34 years of age. Got the whole world in front of him. Good for him. Walks away when he chooses. Not everybody gets to do that. We all wish we could. But he had quite the career. Man, wouldn't you love that? Just a badass O-line or D-line. We talked draft today for our team. That ends up being a perennial type All-Pro, considered one of the best in the league. We had that before, of course, in Baselli. Searcy was considered one of the best in the league at his position. Of course, on the defensive side, we've seen it throughout the years with many, many guys. But can we get a guy like that that steps in? I mean, they're saying this Mason Graham kid is a lock for perennial Pro Bowl, All-Pro, one of the top D linemen in the game. I hope so. I can't wait to the combine. I want to see him. I want to see this Kenneth Grant, too, who's just a little bit bigger than Mason Graham. Played next to him in Michigan, but I want to see him move. He's a 330-pounder. I went through some mock drafts today and just seeing what these different pundits think the Jags are going to do at number 5. Good morning, everybody on Facebook. Appreciate you checking me out on live on Facebook Live. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different outlets. Take it for what you will. One was wow, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Interesting stuff coming up. We know what the needs are. We'll go through those and we'll look at just at least a little bit of the first round and what may happen with our Jaguars. At number 5, Aaron Rodgers has come out and says he wants 2 things, a team to want him and that they got enough talent. I can see him going to the Raiders, can't you? I mean, I would be, if I'm the Raiders, and I'd still grab somebody if they're there. That draft's going to be very interesting how it goes with Tennessee, Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland, I know I'm bouncing back and forth. Cleveland, with the dead money they owe Deshaun Watson, I think it's like $46 million a year. No, $46 million. And, will they go quarterback? If they go quarterback, man, that's going to be an interesting way how that whole thing, how it all breaks down to number 5. Who's going to jump up in front? If they don't go, what if they go Abdul Carter? Who's going to jump up to get that Cam Ward or to get Sanders? There's one guy, I know you'd all be very, very happy. But Aaron Rodgers looking for a place to win. I don't know. 4-time MVP. Would you give him another shot? There was word that, the Jets didn't want him to be on Pat McAfee's show anymore, simmer down on the whatever talk. That's been refuted or disputed and refuted. So, I don't know. If he wins, I don't care what you really do. You know what I mean? I really mean that. I know maybe it's, I don't know what you call it, but I don't care. Like when I heard our defensive line was going out, and I didn't get names and I didn't ask for names because I don't really care. But when I heard members of our D-line going out the night before the game and partying down at the Jack's Beach at the bars, now it was told night before the game. That could have been a mistake. Could be 2 nights before the game. I went out 2 nights before the game, so I'm not throwing any flags there at all. But I don't think you should be out and about, when you're not playing well. And not just your team, but you specifically, your unit. I mean, your D-line, that interior D-line was awful for most of the year. The defensive line, the front 7, they weren't good enough at all. Our back 7 wasn't good enough. Nothing was good enough. The only things that was really good were our 2 edge guys. Other than that, and on occasion, Eric Armstead. But other than that, there was no tremendous play by anybody. I mean, Aluakin's always solid. Lloyd, he made his plenty of mistakes, but he made plenty of plays. But the interior D-line wasn't doing well. Make a play here or there, but I could pop on film from last year and watch you get pushed down the field quite a bit. Made plays here and there too, no doubt. But there were other times, 10 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, just getting pushed down the field. So that, and then and that happens, and then you go out and people are seeing you. I mean, look, it's a different age, right? I mean, the cameras, the phones, the videos, we didn't have that. We didn't have to worry about that. I know my dumb ass would have been like, screw it, I'm going anyway. Let them take the video or picture. I don't care. I'll be safe in what I do. Much safer than probably when there's no outdoor taking a leak. I mean, but the bathroom's jammed inside. You can't walk out to the parking lot, hide behind a car and take a leak today if you're playing for the Jags and you're out in public, or any team for that matter. There's, parties back at the house you got to be careful of. People there till 2:30 in the morning, you got to be, you know what I mean? There's things you got to be worried about. Now, I wasn't a, big-name player. I was just a grunt, and my grunt friends who like to go out, some of them were more than grunts. Some of them were stars, but like going out, and they were single, and they could do that. There were guys that couldn't go out. I mean, Baselli couldn't really go out. He could go out to dinner with his wife and maybe some friends and whatnot, but he couldn't go out hanging around. He'd be mobbed. We wasn't like that. We just mixed in the crowd, kind of filled in. But you got to be careful when you're out there. And when you're out there and you're losing, the fans are still going to like it because you're an NFL player. They're going to it's appealing. It's alluring. We get that. But man, I wouldn't want to show my face around town that much if we weren't playing well. And especially if I personally wasn't doing my job. I would not be into that. But whatever. Hopefully the new regime can handle that. Hopefully Tony can handle that. And, look, the GM search continues. I tell you, it's funny. People on Twitter, and I know it's not everybody, but the people that are on my sheet or whatever, following or for me or what have you, it feels like you're throwing blind darts at who's going to be the GM. No, it's Cunningham. No, it's Gladstone. No, I don't know who it's going to be. I really don't. And again, I just hope it's the right pick. I will say this. I know a lot of people want the clean sweep. Don't want Ethan Waugh anywhere near it. Those pictures of Tony escorting them out, like it's just like really like. I guess is that marketing? It is marketing. But what are you marketing? Just the number of candidates that you're interviewing? Are you marketing to show the league that, hey, we're doing a thorough job here? Every shot is Tony escort them out. Is that part of the marketing? Hey, here's our EVP. We're showing them off. It's all good. I'm not saying it's bad at all. But the marketing of the one today I see with Ethan Waugh smiling like this is, and Tony's not smiling this time. He's probably heard it enough where the smiling. It's just interesting. And I know people are out there like, hey, it's transparent. And great, I have no problem with it. But how much transparency? If I'm them, I'm not telling you who I'm going after in free agency. I'm not telling you who I'm interviewing for the big free agent. I'm not telling you who I'm going to draft. I'm not going to, or to even give you an idea who I'm going to draft, right? We don't need that transparency. And I guess some of you I don't need the transparency. And I will tell you this, and I don't know anything. Again, I don't go and ask anybody. I don't care. I care, but I don't care. I don't care if I know first. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'll just read and react like a good linebacker should. But if Ethan was the pick, why I'm comfortable is because of Tony being there, of Baselli being there, because I know he will not allow any kind of toxicity within that organization. He will not be a part of that. He will not allow it to happen. So even though a lot of you are concerned that if Ethan Waugh is the guy, which I don't know, the pin the tail on the GM says he's not the guy, but if he is, I have at least faith that Tony's not going to let any tomfoolery happen, within, Ethan Waugh and that whole structure. And I think that's what Tony is partially there for. And I think Shad Khan trusts Tony to have that role, among others, but to have that role, right? And then to me, again, I think with Baselli, it's also bringing in the right kind of guys. And I'm not just saying GM, but players too, whether it's free agent or draft one. I'm not saying he's going to be there picking them, but the type of person, the type of player, the type of teammate, the type of locker room presence that we need to be successful. I think that's where Big Tone's going to come in and do really well with, among other things. Because, look, it's funny, the players are saying it. Players make plays. They know this. Now, I don't know why it didn't happen under Doug, but it's too late and it doesn't matter. We're on to Liam. Now, Liam's got to be able to, and all saying the right stuff, it's great, man. It's freaking great, and I love it. But, he's got to make sure that his approach, his philosophy, his style matches what those guys in the locker room like and that will respond to in a positive way. I think that makes sense, at least in my opinion. It does. Of course, the show brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. They're there for you when you need them. You might not need them right now, but they're there when you need them. For sure. Need new flooring? Carpet Man Flooring, man. They are the best, highest prices at the lowest cost. Check them out, carpetman.biz. You are a friend or a friend of yours, family friend, whatever, friend of a friend gets thrown in the clink. Well, Chris Lucero's bail bonds gets them out in a blink. They sure do. 904-822-24 or 2245. 822-2245. Morgan & Morgan, slip and fall, accident, whatever, you get injured, call Morgan & Morgan. Go to forthepeople.com, the largest personal injury law firm in the world, at least in the country. I know that. I think there may be one more larger than them, but they are right up there, and they've got the resources to handle your next case. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Hey, man, your junk is someone else's treasure, and it's veteran families that receive that treasure. Go to jdog.com, 844-GET-JUNK, get J-Dog, J-D-O-G, 844-GET-JDOG, and let them pick up, whatever, a sofa you don't want, a table, a chair, what have you. They'll refurbish it if it needs it, and then they give it to veteran families in need. And if you're a veteran out there looking for work, go to jdog.com. Azar Sausage, third generation, homegrown, down home, some of the best sausage you'll ever taste. I tell you what, man, ever since I've been eating Azar Sausage, I don't have anything else. And I go there once a month to get my fill, and it's absolutely incredible. The andouille, the hot are our favorites. Give them a shot at your Winn-Dixie and your local groceries. Sometimes you got to ask for them, but they're there right here in Northeast Florida. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, the number one commercial real estate firm in the world, at least in Northeast Florida and beyond. And they take care of things the right way. I've been friends with them for over 20 years. Used to work for them way back when, way before radio. But tell you what, we're all still very good friends, and I endorse them because they're the best. Number one, commercial real estate. Everything commercial they handle, including development and investment sales. So check them out, 904-399-5222 or phoenixrealty.net. Salt Air Inn and Suites, a boutique, beautiful boutique, luxury hotel, man, a motel hotel. Very great rooms, quaint rooms, beautiful rooms, nice little pool, right 4 blocks from the beach, 2 blocks from the action. Next time you want to spend the night, the weekend, or a week coming up with the beautiful weather that'll be forthcoming, hopefully sooner than later. Make sure you check out Salt Air Inn and Suites. I mentioned Code Ninjas, codeninjas.com. Get your kids into camp. Freedom Finance, let my man Courtney Myers be your fractional CFO. You know, you need some help, early stage, small business, taking the next step. You need help with forecasting, bookkeeping, accounting, even raising funds. Make sure you check out my man Courtney Myers at Freedom Finance at freedomfinance.llc. Family Tradition Specialty Foods, home of Coconut Joe's hot sauces. That's what's on our table. They got 4 great, delicious. Oh, the sriracha is phenomenal. The mango, the garlic, Parmesan, and also the pineapple ghost. Sweet, but boom, with a big kick. If you like that, like we do, go to FamilyTraditionsSpecialtyFoods.com. And in that discount code bar, put Pound Team Tommy Mac, and you get a BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Last but not least, Fields Cadillac. They are the best when it comes to luxury and performance. Check them out down in St. Augustine at the malls or at I-295 and Blanding Boulevard. Fields Cadillac. Been fun driving their cars on the Riding Shotgun Show, which we hope to get back. Of course, want to thank 1010XL for being part of the family. All right, so I went through mock drafts, seeing what the Jags will do at number 5. It's all speculative, but it's a great thing to do. By the way, you need any bathroom reading? Not that I that's where I do all my reading, although I do. You go Google mock drafts if you're into football, and you'll be in there in an hour. You'll be in there in an hour, trust me. Do it early in the morning when nobody's awake, and it's no big deal. It's like an apartment or an office, but nonetheless, I did that this morning, and man, interesting, the difference of picks for what the Jags will do at number 5. So I looked at 8 different pundits: CBS Sports, Walter Football, The Athletic, NFL.com, Tankathon. Never heard of them, but they were up there. PFF, USA Today, and Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network. All right, so Mason Graham got the most. Okay, The Athletic had him at number 5. Jags taking him number 5. Daniel Jeremiah in his latest mock draft had him taken at number 5. Tankathon had him taken at number 5. And that's with Sanders, Hunter, and Ward off the board. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Titans and Cleveland hold the whole key to this thing, right? I mean, if the Titans go, if they say, you know what, we're not sold on Will Levis, we're going to go a different direction. Look, I will tell you that I don't think the kid's very good. However, he does have plenty of physical tools. Can he put it all together is the question. I don't know. I don't really like his attitude. You know, to me, if he was my teammate, I don't know. He seems a little prima donna-esque. Let me give you a quick story, if I may. When I was on my recruiting visit to University of Illinois, and who was my host was so good. He ended up being a defensive lineman for the Rams for a long guy. Weiss, I think, was his last. He was really good. My host was really good. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's 1987 in the fall. Anyway, Jeff George had just transferred in from Purdue to be Illinois' starting quarterback. And Bill Kolar, who was the recruiting coordinator, ended up coaching in the NFL for a long, long time. He asked as Jeff George is walking by, so it's me and the host and Bill Kolar. And Bill's like, Hey, what about him? What do you think? And he had just gotten there, maybe a week or two, or maybe a month, something like that. And he went like this. He went, he's a baby. And I was just like, interesting. He had a tremendous arm. Jeff George, one of the greatest arms. Probably, you could argue. This is kind of a little bit out there. Don't get me wrong. You could argue he had one of the greatest arms of all time. Greatest release, power, everything, speed, velocity. Go look that up. He was absolutely incredible. But that was his reputation, kind of a premium. I get that out of Will Levis. It's never his fault. It's look, how's my look looking? And the mayonnaise. Maybe I'm biased because the mayonnaise commercial bothered me. I'm a Hellman's guy, but I just wouldn't do that. Like, why would you do that? I don't care about Okay, great. You want to pay me money to do this commercial? Let's change the commercial to something different instead of me acting like a jackass. But nonetheless, if they go QB with Cam Ward, or Sanders, I think Cam Ward's going to get the nod if that's the case. What does Cleveland do? Because you hear these rumors like, no, we're done with Watson. Then they're like, we're kind of tied to Watson. But those two really, and then what if someone jumps up to 2? If you're Cleveland. Or if you're Cleveland, if they take Cam, you take Abdul, right? I mean, this guy is, man, I didn't realize he was 6'3", 250. He's like Micah. He's like Micah, man. He can really get around that edge. He didn't look that big on TV. But Abdul Carter, man, he definitely, he's something to look out after. No question about that. I think we'd all at number 5. Let me ask you this, and you can answer if you want, if you get to it. If not, it's all good. Travis Hunter sitting there. Are you taking him over everybody else? Corner, lockdown. Forget about it. That's huge. But how can you get a stud defensive tackle? They say they're deep. I don't know how deep. They say they're deep at defensive tackle. Or what if you go defensive tackle in free agency? You don't need that defensive tackle, but now you got the corner. And then maybe you go O-line. I don't know. Listen, unless it's Travis Hunter, I'm hoping they go O-line, D-line in the first 2 picks somewhere. Now, granted, I don't know about the offensive tackles in the second round. I know we get 2 picks in the third round. Can you find at least a caliber starter? Or do you go, with a tackle at number 5 or trade back and get some picks? It really depends. I mean, this Mason Graham kid's very intriguing. His teammate, Kenneth Grant, is very, very intriguing. A little bit bigger, and they say he can really move. I saw that clip where he picked up the ball and started running. No, he ran the dude down. It's a big guy running. How is he changing direction and all that? That's what the combine for me is, to see those big guys change direction on instinct, not on look. It's one thing to do drills on your own, and there's value there. Don't get me wrong, but it's way different, night and day different when it's done on instinct, and you're not doing it on the way you're doing it. You're doing it based on somebody else. Those big guys moving back and forth through the bags in open space. That's where you can see the athleticism and what they can do, bending around the corner, getting to that fake, QB that's the stand-up dummy. I don't know why they call them dummies, QBs. I didn't. You guys are one of the smartest ones out there. But going to be interesting. All right, here's kind of off the wall. By the way, Kenneth Grant did get a pick from Walter Football to be the Jags pick. They like him better. There's rumors. Who knows? There's rumors that they like Grant just as much or better than Mason Graham. I don't know if that's true. Let's see. You know what could happen? If the bigger guy moves better than the smaller guy, you know what happens in the NFL? The bigger guy moves up. I don't know if it knocks Mason down because he's a beast, but we shall see. He's a big boy himself. NFL.com has the DB from Michigan, Will Johnson, as the pick. See, here's part of the problem. He's coming off the injury, so I don't know if he's been cleared yet. He may have, but you got to make sure that he's healthy 100%. You can't take that risk, I don't think. And especially if Hunter's there at 5, I mean, you're not taking Will Johnson over Hunter. There's no way. I wouldn't think, although they say this Will Johnson kid could be, he's 6'2" and can move. I'll tell you one that threw me off. How about this? Two of them threw me off. USA Today has Tet McMillan being taken at number 5 by the Jags while Travis Hunter is on the board. No way. I would not. I'd be shocked at that. I mean, one thing about Travis Hunter, man, you may use him on offense too, but he's your corner, and we need a corner here in Jacksonville. It'll be interesting. I think there's going to be some trade up, man, especially if Titans don't go. If they go Abdul Carter or somebody totally different based on the combine and whatnot, man, they're going to be a floodgates to get to Cleveland. Even the Giants. I mean, Giants need a QB bad. They sure do. The Pats don't. They could go offensive line. They could go Hunter. I mean, it's going to be hard for anyone to pass up Travis Hunter. In this mock draft, it's Cameron Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders, and then Travis Hunter, then Mason Graham to the Jags. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But look, if you're Vrabel up in New England, you got a quarterback. I mean, you think you do anyway. You're going to roll with him and see what you can do. You better protect his ass, right? I mean, if I'm them, I'm looking at, one of these offensive linemen. There seem to be 3 that keep peeking around. The kid from LSU, I like him a lot. He could play guard, 6'6", 320. That's Will Campbell. The Calvin Banks kid, 6'4", 325. He's an offensive tackle. Where's that big dude that I miss? He's from Missouri. He's an interesting one, too. I see him up and down the boards. Now, this one's crazy. CBS Sports. Sometimes these guys throw what against the wall and see if it stinks. You know what I mean? But Nick Emanuvari, who's a safety out of South Carolina. Listen, this guy's 6'3", 227. He's Steve Atwater big. Not a lot of picks. Seems like more of a run guy, but as high as 5th. Now, another mock draft's got him at 40th overall. That's a jump. I mean, that would be unless he runs a ridiculous 40 and you just got to have a Joey Browner type back there doing work. I get that. But it'll be interesting. Look, I think our needs in order, DT, offensive tackle, cornerback, offensive guard, safety, and wide receiver. That's what I think. That's what I would go with. But, again, we got to see how it all plays out, see this combine, and see how these guys move on instinct. All right, that's going to do it for me this time around. I'm headed into Jaguars today with my pals Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and Dylan Denmark. Thank you all for the love and support. Thanks for listening. I'll be back on Friday. Make sure you check out TommyMac.net. You'll see this show. You'll see shows of The Horse's Mouth. Lately, we've had Big Cersei on with Coach Campo, Cleo Lemon, Lonnie Martz, Donna Windsor, and Killer Bees, talking about a great event. We just have the tremendous guests. We've had the Iceman on. It's just a great show. We've had business people, too. But if you want to check out some of the celeb types, make sure you go to TommyMac.net. Until next time, stay safe, be cool, and stay safe. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.